Hey, I think I'm on. Hey, out there, beautiful humans in Facebook land. I want to hop on here and give a Venus wisdom report on this Friday, Venus Day. Friday being named after the Norse goddess Freya, Freya Day, Friday. And each of the days of the week are dedicated to one of the planets. So we've got Venus Day today, and we've got something very special happening in the sky story. I'm calling it the Black Friday special from the cosmos. Just not seeing if I'm on here. I can never tell with Zoom, but oh yeah, there it is. Okay, cool. I want to show you some things. I want to share the screen, so I like to do Zoom for that. And so here we are. So if you're coming in from wherever and you're landing on this live and you want to stay and you want to hear this astrology, and particular for heart-centered visionaries, this tends to be who's drawn to my particular take on the stars, the star wisdom, the sky story. So please say hello. I'd love to hear where on this earth you are planted in this moment, and to welcome you to this illumination of the sky story that I like to offer. It's been more spontaneous lately than regular, but who knows how it will roll. So if you come in for the replay, please just put replay so that I know you're here and I can just, feel that energy. It's such a beautiful thing we have with this technology to be able to connect all over the globe. And it's the benefit. I know there's a lot of shadows to it too. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I was checking in to see if anyone would come on here and wanted to say hello, but I will go forward and share what I have to share, because today we have an electric happening. And so you might be feeling this already. You might be feeling amped in your nervous system. You might be feeling excited. You might be feeling lit up. All of these things are possible, kind of depending on your personal astrology and how sensitive you are. If you are sensitive, you're probably aware of more of the subtleties of these ebbs and these flows. And so this is the benefit of knowing what's happening with the stars and knowing what the energetics are, as we really get to ride these waves in a more conscious way. And we get to know ourselves in a more conscious way too. Okay. I think that's the intro. Oh, my name is Sasha Benedetti. If you haven't come across me yet and you don't know that, that's who I am. Okay, so today is the point where we're on this journey that I've been following and syncing with the Venus cycle. And so briefly, the Venus cycle is Venus's dance with the sun. And it starts out with them in union, totally, in this divine union of sun, source, light, and Venus, heart, body, feminine wisdom. And that started back in June, early June of 2020. And so now we are seeing her and have been seeing her as morning star. And really, this is a map of a heroine's journey in order to know ourselves more deeply, more authentically, and embody more love. So we're embodying the light codes of the sun through this cycle. And so there's certain stops on this journey that are particularly potent, and today is one of them. And so when that cycle opened up, it opened up when the sun met Venus. It opened up in the sign of Gemini. And so Gemini is an air sign. It's movable, changeable, and it's so much about learning. So we're learning a whole other level of what does it mean to embody and know the sacred feminine energies. It came online in 2012, and now we're really getting this next level in 2020. We get to up our game. We get to really refine how we're holding this sacred feminine energy that this current culture that's getting deconstructed before our eyes, I call it the dominator culture. It's really oppressed and repressed the feminine principle in all of us. So If you have been following me, you know I'm not pointing to sex or gender here. I'm talking about the pure energy of the feminine. And so this has been repressed within a system that runs on fear, control, command, scarcity. Welcome to Western civilization. And so this deconstruction that we're seeing is the backdrop, and we're headed towards the Age of Aquarius on December solstice. And this is a whole new opening. And the way that I see it in brief is that it is an opportunity to expand our perception. It's not like all of our problems are going to go away in a moment. Yet our perception may shift drastically, and we may be able to perceive new resources that we haven't been able to see up until this point, new solutions to problems. We may have innovations spring up. So all of these energies of evolution, being out of the box, being innovative, being able to stretch beyond the known, all of these are connected with the energy of this planet Uranus. Uranus is the revolutionary, Uranus is quick change, and Uranus is co-ruler of Aquarius. So we're entering the age of Aquarius, and so we want to keep our eye on Uranus in the sky and notice what's happening. So Uranus in the sky is in this most slowed down sensual sign of Taurus, fixed earth. And it's incredibly feminine, incredibly fertile, incredibly sensual. And so we know that the revolutionary energy is going to be most accessible when we slow down, when when we are taking the time to feel ourselves through our senses. This is going to be the opening for how we find these new solutions. So it's not necessarily up here, even though Uranus rules the higher mind, it's in the sign of Taurus. Well, guess what planet is connected with Taurus? Venus. So Venus is the sacred feminine, the heart energy, the experience of embodiment through our senses. And so we know that the sacred feminine is really important for the shift that we're about to undertake, and we have been in the process of, and not just our own bodies, but really the body of the earth. So nature itself, and this understanding of our connection between our body and nature, and more intimacy with how we get our food, what are our water sources, and really the cellular knowing that we all have deep within us getting activated. So today is a day of activation of our inner wisdom. And the reason is that we have Venus in the sky in the sign of Scorpio. And Scorpio is the depths of the water. And so Scorpio loves to dive into the muck to find the jewel and to come back out again. So there's a death and there's a rebirth with Scorpio energy. It's associated with transformation. So we have Venus in the sign of Scorpio, and she is at about exactly a halfway point of her monthly cycle with the moon. And so what that means is that Venus and moon were together in the morning sky, exactly together on November 12th. And so that was the beginning of the cycle. Venus meets the moon a few days before the new moon. And then Venus opposes the moon a few days before the full moon. So we have this full moon coming. A lot of people are talking about it on Monday, and here we are on Friday. And so we have this opportunity to receive the fruition of what was set in motion 2 weeks ago in the new Venus portal on November 12th. And we get a chance to do it outside of the context of the new and full moons. And so I talk more about that, how the moon represents our conditioned feminine nature, our story, our history, our ancestry, our families, in a sense, all of the stories of our families. And I would say, this is really the setting of the lunar feminine on the planet right now and the rise of the solar feminine. And so Venus represents the solar feminine, represents this evolutionary energy that's not carrying a story with our hearts, with our feelings, so we have a feeling and automatically we have a story about what that's about. And so when we can just be in the purity of that authentic feeling, that is the freedom, that is the liberation. And a lot of us don't have practice with that. We don't have practice with feeling itself and then really feeling at that level of the primary feeling before we add any layers of meaning, because we carry that on from our back, our whole history, and then we really use it as a lens to interpret every moment and everything that happens to us. So we get a chance today to break through from this conditioning, and we have a lot of opportunity to illuminate our hearts and what's within our hearts, and there may be some surprises. So I'm going to just show you, let's see, where did my screen go? I'm going to show you the chart for today and show you what's going on. If I can find my Zoom. Now I'm in my Facebook screen. All right. Technology. It's this blessing and sometimes not. Okay, so let's share it. Let me show you what I want to show you. Okay, so here we are. This is from where I am. I'm in Northern California, and there's a lot on this chart. So I encourage you, if you're not familiar with astrology, not to focus too much on what you don't understand, but just to put your attention on these points that I'm gonna outline. So we have our Venus in Scorpio here. And this is the sign for Venus. This is the sign for Scorpio, 7 degrees. And so that's that deep heart transformation, transmutation possibility. And Venus, when we started this cycle, I'll show you in a minute, she was in the sign of Libra and she clicked into Scorpio last weekend. So it really is a deepening into the watery depths of our feelings and a chance to look at shadow oftentimes with Scorpio, a chance to look at our habits and our patterns that are unconscious, that are hidden. Scorpio loves the unseen and loves to get to the bottom of it. Like I said, finding that jewel at the bottom of the sea and willing to dive through the muck in order to get there. And so the counterpoint to this is the moon. And you can see Uranus is right with the moon today. And so this is the sign for the moon, obviously, and this is Taurus. And this great awakener, this revolutionary energy of Uranus is right with the moon. They were exact a few hours ago. And Uranus is still in, will be exact with Venus, but this morning, Moon and Venus, if you were up early enough before dawn, you may have seen Venus in the morning sky. She's still our morning star Venus, our young heroine on the journey, now coming to the completion of her morning star journey. We only have 2 more gates that she'll pass through, and she's going to disappear into the underworld in the beginning of February 2021. So today we have this opposition, and so they're across the chart from each other. And so this is, to have our conditioning on any level to be touched upon by this Uranian electric lightning bolt waking up energy is a big opportunity to see something or feel something or know something that before was out of our view. It was out of our consciousness, and not only anything, but something that is deeply relevant to the way that we love, the way that we connect, the way that we receive, and to tend to our hearts and be available for our hearts in a way that we might not necessarily make time for in a day. So Taurus tells us to slow down. in order to experience this consciousness, to slow down and to come in, and to really sink into our soma, to sink into our bodies, to be aware of our bones and our interior spaces, and to bring our pace down so that we can really experience what's right here. And this is, something in a Buddhist tradition. There's practices of walking slowly, just getting really present. And I'm just learning more about how to address trauma. And so many of us have trauma. On some level, we all have trauma from just growing up in this reality. But when we have serious trauma, what can happen is it's so hard to stay in the present moment, because that story, that history of our trauma is so loud that we can't be present with what is. We can't access that we are safe right here, right now. And so when we slow down and we come into our body, and even to do movements helps us to focus more. And so it was so great. I've been working with this fabulous dog trainer, and he actually did this with our dog who has some trauma. He did this very slow, intentional walking to help her come into the present moment. She calmed right down. It was really magical to see this. And the magic is in getting into a state of presence, coming into this moment more fully, and to be more available to the here and now, so we can receive what's there. So if you didn't get up this morning and see Venus in the morning sky before the sun washes out her light, you could still do this tomorrow. Now, the moon's not going to be visible because the moon is on the well, actually, that's not, I don't know. If someone got up, she might be setting. She would be visible setting. If you catch it just right. So you could try that tomorrow. So if it's still dark and you're looking to the east to see Venus rising, you may, still catch the moon in the west setting, because they're opposite. So we know that that's on the land. What that means is one horizon, one thing's going on, another horizon, something else is going on. So this is what it looks like in the astrology chart. And okay, I wanted to show you the Venus map as well. So let me just see if there's any comments or anything coming on here to talk to you in the live. Okay, so I created this map for those that want to learn how to sync with the Venus cycle and want to reorient to this evolutionary feminine, to this solar feminine that is so much the medicine for this moment, this moment in time when things are so speeded up, and we have so many stories about lack, so many stories about our deficiencies, so many stories about not being good enough, so many stories about, not being empowered. And so the Venus cycle is a quest for our true power, which is fully showing up and being present with who we are, including our feeling body, including our physical body, including our mind, all of it. And so the heart is this very integrative place in our being, and it can hold all of it. And so when I do astrology, I call it Venus wisdom, because I always am holding Venus, and this Venus cycle is the container, and everything else can fit within that container. The mind, the spirit, everything else can fit right in there. And that's why in so many mystical traditions, the heart is considered the sacred heart, this portal, this place where we can integrate, this place where consciousness really can be changed. And this meeting place of the above and the below, right? Within our body, we become that bridge. Okay, so here is the map that I created. And it's, again, please don't, worry if you don't understand it all at once, because it takes a little bit of time. And if you are interested to learn more, you are invited to come into the Facebook group community, Venus Wisdom Collective. And it's a group for visionary women and men of heart, and just opened it up to men this last couple months. I felt inspired with all this Mars energy and just loving that men are also in this relationship to their own feminine, their own heart wisdom at this time. So I will drop the link if you're interested in that. So the Venus cycle is 19 months, and here we are. This is us. We're on Earth. And when the cycle begins, like, so this is June 3rd, Venus was between Earth and the sun. So we couldn't see her, but there was this lineup, and that lineup is that divine union, that meeting of light and heart, or, heart body. And, really the true body is the earth. We're made of the earth, and Venus is reflecting that to us. She's like this wise sister. She's about the same size as the earth. And so she's reflecting back to us our own wisdom, because the feminine is incredibly subjective. Sometimes it's hard to even understand ourselves because we're so in it, right? So there's this space, there's this reflection, this relatedness, which is the beauty of sacred relationship, is that when we have that container of love and trust, someone else can reflect something to us, and then we can trust it and go, oh, wow, that was my blind spot. I didn't see that. And so it really helps us in our growth tremendously. So that was the beginning of the cycle on June 3rd. We've been moving this way around this whole morning star phase here. And these are the meetups with the moon. And if you jump into the group, you can get a copy of this map and you can follow along. But you can see on 11/12, Venus and moon met in the sign of Libra. And so this is particularly potent because Libra is Venus's sign. So it's this very pure expression of the feminine nature and the desire to navigate self and other, to be in this dance of self and other. And the solar feminine is really coming online to honor self and to honor our truth without sacrificing that in order to show up and be in harmony with other. So the old model is the martyr, where we sacrifice our own self in order to be in relationship, and that's really exiting. And we're learning how to attune both to ourselves and to another. And then to attune to ourselves, we're learning to really be with our own primal energies and be more coherent, be more truthful about what's happening inside of us, and then sharing that with others in a consensual and in an intimate way. So this gate that we were at, this was really the 5th gate of descent. And so we're on this journey to the underworld. Our heart wisdom is surrendering all that is no longer true in order to understand more of our essence and who we truly are and who we are as light beings. And so if you are considering yourself someone who at this time is meant to be alive in order to bring more understanding of embodied divinity, or the nature of spirit and matter, this Venus cycle is all of that. So we're about halfway between the meetings of November 12th, when Moon and Venus met in Libra, and December 12th, 12/12, when Venus and Moon are going to meet up in the sign of Scorpio. So Venus is in Scorpio, but the Moon's not there yet. So we're about halfway through. And so that's like the full Venus portal. So this is the new Venus portal on the 12th, and then we get the full Venus portal in between, and then we'll get another new Venus portal on 12/12. And so that's another opportunity to, to consciously connect with our journey and our heroine's journey, and this surrender process and this waking up to who we truly are process, because this really is the time of the divergence and the outliers and the visionaries, and those that have been out of the box, and maybe those that have felt left out of the mainstream culture. This is really the rise of all of those types of people. And I imagine if you're watching this, you may very well be one of those types of people. So, this is very connected. Today is very connected to the deep heart, illuminating the deep heart, slowing down enough to feel the deep heart, and this lightning bolt coming in and bringing us a truth, bringing us something that may be unexpected, in order to like, if we feel shaken up, then that's a clue that probably this is a Uranian experience. Uranus has been correlated, that the energies that Uranus awakens have been correlated to Kundalini. So if you know anything about Kundalini, which a lot of people have begun to understand and do these Kundalini practices, we're talking about that kind of Uranian energy. And the the advice or the guidance with Kundalini energies, you don't want to awaken it too quickly. You have to build the vessel. You have to build the capacity for your nervous system, for your body to handle this liquid fire energy of Uranian cosmic delight. And, really, Uranus is all about liberation. So it may shatter something that is no longer necessary, something that is old that we're hanging on to. So that might happen today. If you're aligned with this energy, if you're sensitive, you might notice something, wow, aha, whoa, get illuminated, and you might have clarity, you might have truth around that. This is really the time to trust our inner wisdom and our inner knowing, and to come home to ourselves as these multi-dimensional, powerful, wise beings, and to not buy into the story about humanity being wrong and bad and the source of all that ails us, but to really wake up to our potential to heal and to recreate culture based on partnership and love and care and reverence for the earth, and to know that there's so many solutions in the field. And as we wake up to this field of consciousness, we become more aware of what's right here. And so Uranus is definitely a part of that journey. And we are in it now. We're in this wild, unknown territory, heading towards this age of Aquarius, and heading towards the first lunar eclipse in the sign of Gemini. So I hope I said, no, I'm not remembering, but when Venus met Sun back on June 2nd, they met up in the sign of Gemini. So this Gemini consciousness is going to follow us for this whole 19 months, all the way into 2022. And so there's a bit of oh yeah, I think I did name the Gemini energy. So coincidentally, or cosmically, inspired, the eclipses are also going to be in Gemini and Sagittarius. They're always in opposite signs, but the one that opens the new is in Gemini. So this is the first eclipse in Gemini, opening up the Gemini mysteries. And one thing that I was thinking about Gemini this morning, and how Gemini is teaching us about the nature of duality. And in order to understand this reality, oftentimes we need black and white, yes, no, we need this binary understanding. And yet Gemini, is also known as the trickster. And so there's this way that Gemini doesn't take anything too seriously, because this intelligence of Gemini is so fluid and so changeable, and can really see any side of anything. And so it teaches us not to take duality so seriously, to understand it, but not to take it so seriously, because the nature of reality is so beyond what we can even imagine. And so as we move into this age of Aquarius, we may see a lot more of that, just blown away by more understanding of the nature of reality that has been hidden and is coming more online now. So blessings to you on this peak Venus portal day with this Uranian energy in the mix. I hope that you really take some time to slow down and feel, and to be brave to see if there's something that shows up that needs to be cleared. That we would say are all the planets in Capricorn, clearing the space. What's no longer working? Where are we giving our power away? Where are we consenting to systems that don't serve us? Where are we giving our authority away? And how do we take that back and become, not become, but acknowledge and claim our full sovereignty as we recreate the world and redream the future, as we're starting to do now. So I hope you have a beautiful day. Feel free to drop any questions below, and I will drop the link. You're welcome to come into the group and say hello and get on the Venus journey. And lots of love to you. Take care of yourself. Black Friday cosmic special, and it's free. Bye.